I was 14 years old when I was diagnosed with depression. I I I kind of hate that because if the doctor would have looked at my home life
Mm-hmm.
and had seen, what was going on and the
Mm-hmm.
illness that was
Mm-hmm.
in that home, I probably wouldn't have been diagnosed with
Yeah.
depression, but I was put on antidepressants at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't think I truly experienced what or how deep depression actually is until I had gone to college and I was experiencing a lot of change. I was living away from my family. I was, making a whole new group of friends. Um, and that's when it kind of came a little bit more into my life.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I truly had to navigate myself through.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, and that was a lot of change that was going on and new experiences.
absolutely.
And something that I think that comes to mind here is the phrase that feelings buried alive never die. Would
Yes.
you say during that time as you were going through this that you were burying your feelings and your emotions and not
Yeah.
really dealing with things the way
Yeah.
you now know how to deal with your emotions?
Absolutely. I mean, I have always been a very bubbly person,
Mm-hmm.
very loud, very outgoing, happy, laughing. I can make people dance and sing and smile. Like that just was
She's so
me.
fun to be around.
Thank you. Um, but yeah, I mean, I got to college and then I started feeling some emptiness and darkness inside, and I was trying really hard to still portray that self of me.
Uh-huh.
Um, that, happy-go-lucky girl. I wanted people to view me
Yeah.
that way. And so yeah, I definitely was starting to shove things down to act a certain way. And because of that, it just like boiled up and it exploded into just more than I thought I would have been able to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and later down the road, I end up being diagnosed with panic disorder, and that was something really hard that I had to learn and navigate through, something that completely changed me. Um, but now I've learned how to, I wouldn't necessarily say control the panic attacks because you can't. Ultimately, it will come and you need to be able to honor those feelings and emotions that come with that. But I have learned how to kind of get a little bit of a better grip on it so that
Mm-hmm.
I don't lose myself completely.
Yes. Well, I remember that stage of life where those were coming on, and
Hmm.
was around you when you have had some. I know my daughter Taylor, who's a close cousin and friend of yours, helped you through that. You had to learn how to even teach people how to help you, right? I mean, let's talk
Yes.
about that.
Yeah.
There were some steps that you had to do to get through those panic attacks,
Hmm.
and your loved ones that you confided in
Right.
learned how to help you to breathe, or
Hmm.
you had a heavy blanket
Yes.
that
Raven blankets.
that would help you to feel more grounded.
Yes, I would have people lay on top of me. It compresses the nervous system with that extra added weight, especially on the chest. And so yeah, I mean there were a whole list. I still have it on my phone. I have the entire list of things to do when people start to notice it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they can if you were to look at me before I have a panic attack, you could tell that I'm about to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Because my eyes will just go dark and my body kind of like slugs a little bit and people can tell. And so there is ways and I've been able to entrust it with people such as my
Mm-hmm.
cousin Taylor, your
Mm-hmm.
daughter. And Chase even.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've shared with Chase a little bit on how to help me. But it took me years.
Yes.
It took me a really long time.
Well, and now that you've come through on the other side of this,
Hmm.
they're far less, right?
Yes, I have the last one I haven't had in a very long time.
Mm-hmm. And so there's been several things that you've done to get healthy.
Hmm. Yes.
What are they? I mean, I know, but let's talk about and share with the audience
Yeah,
because it's been
well,
such a beautiful thing to watch.
yeah, ultimately, I needed to address my physical health first. I had really just crashed with that with my personal hygiene. I wasn't taking care of myself that way. And I think that a lot of it has to do with because at that time, I believed that I wasn't worthy of that care or that love of anyone to give it to me, but especially myself.
Mm-hmm.
I also just didn't have the energy to get up and brush my teeth or wash my hair or even, make my bed. Like I couldn't do any of it.
Can I just say, that's
Yeah,
such a critical thing that you said that you didn't believe that you were worthy. And I want to just take a minute and say to anybody who's listening that you are worthy, that you
absolutely.
are of worth. And it's tempting to think that way
It
especially
is.
when you've spiraled into depression and you're having these feelings. But I think that the fact that you grasp your worth at your
Mm-hmm.
lowest point and started to pull yourself out, that was a turning point for you. And
Yes.
so you
Yes.
have to know how worthy you are, that there's nothing that can diminish that worth of yours. And you just have it. It
Mm-hmm.
it is. And so if you can cling to that and then learn to then love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to be able to pull out of it, which I think is part of what you had to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started, slowly introducing, I mean, at the time when it was really bad and I was pulling myself out, it was just small things,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Okay, let's go hang out with a friend today. Or maybe even just call a friend and talk to them,
Yeah.
you know. Or maybe let's go outside for a walk. It doesn't have to be a really long time, but let's just get outside of bed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it started really, really small with those. And then slowly it was a snowball effect. And I found myself like, okay, let's go to the gym. Let's go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go grocery shopping. Let's do meal prep. Let's plan social events.
Mm-hmm.
But those were big things. Those are big things.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who is experiencing depression, to get yourself to that point, it takes a long time. And it took me about 3 years to really start enforcing those bigger habits. And now they are like complete habits and I just do it. I wake up, I go
It's
to the
easy
gym,
now.
I eat healthy, I listen to good uplifting music. I mean, now, yes, it is,
Now it
it's
just feels like
easier.
piece of cake. This is
Yes.
just
But
how
back then, it was the end of the world
it's a mountain to
to
climb.
do. Yes, it was like, oh my
Any
gosh,
one
I
of these
can't do
little
that.
decisions.
Yeah.
So it's important to note and to just say that depression is a disease
Oh, absolutely.
and
It
it's
is an
real,
illness.
and you had to seek help in many different ways. Part of that was
Mm-hmm.
professional help
Mm-hmm.
in medicine
Yes.
and therapists.
Mm-hmm.
All of it was a multifaceted approach
Mm-hmm.
to doing that. But you had to have the desire.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of will reach a point in your life, um, where you'll want to call upon change, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
When you're
Yeah.
like, this is not working.
Yeah. There's one of my favorite songs. It's called Life is Life. And in one of the lyrics, it says that he looked at himself and he didn't love what he saw. So he went to go make change. And I think that that's kind of what had happened is I got down to that point. I got to the bottom and I looked around and I didn't like what my life was like. And that's when I took back control and I took back my power.
Mm-hmm.